Hi, and welcome to the third episode of Pixpro Labs Live Show. I am Sarah Watts, and I'm the CEO of Pixpro Labs, and I'm also the host of this show. My mission is to help Joomla businesses grow, and one important element in this mission is to host this live show. If you are thinking about starting offering Joomla services or products and joining the ecosystem of awesome businesses, this show is for you. And if you already are in the ecosystem of Joomla and want to tap into other businesses' expertise or experience, this show is for you. And if you're a Joomla user, this is a great opportunity for you to get to know the people behind the Joomla businesses a little bit better. In this weekly live show, I am inviting people running businesses that provides Joomla extensions, templates, hosting, services, training, and I would like to talk about businesses, about life, and of course about Joomla. And since this is a live show, some questions from the comments that we get during the live show will be featured, and I will get them up on the screen if you type them. So start typing them into the questions, or yes, say hi in the questions and we will feature you too. Please give us some feedback with the emojis that Facebook has. Press the heart button to keep us energized during our conversation. Give us thumbs up if you agree, or if you have something that you don't like, give the angry emoji. All feedback in any form is all good. Also, help me share the show. You can share it while we are live, or you can share it the replay. So, with no further ado, I would like to introduce my special guest for the show this week. And I'd like to say hi to Peter van Westen from Regular Labs. Thank you for joining me into this episode.
My pleasure.
You are one of the people that I have been inspired by for a very long time. And
Wow.
I really look forward to have a conversation with you. So welcome.
Thank you very much.
Let's start by telling me and all our viewers a little bit more about yourself.
Okay. What do you want to know? So I'm Peter van Westen. I'm married and I have a 10-year-old daughter. I live in the Netherlands in a small town close to the German border. And we've been living on this side of the country for about 6 years now, 6.5 years, on the quiet side, and I'm loving it. And yeah, the Joomla side, I'm a Joomla extension developer. I've got about 25, 27 extensions at the moment. And yeah, I offer support on them and I keep tweaking them and making them better and better.
So that's a really good intro to telling us a little bit more about what you do. So how long have you been offering Joomla extensions to the Joomla ecosystem?
Yeah, it started probably in 2008. It's a bit, when I started, I wasn't really creating a company. I was just giving them away and it just started as a hobby. And then down the line, yeah, it began to cost me more and more time. So I had to make a choice whether to continue on that track or to switch over to a more commercial approach. I chose that, otherwise I wouldn't be able to maintain my extensions anymore. So now, for the last couple of years, I've been full-time only doing the extensions, and that's working out pretty well.
And when we met last time at J and Beyond in Krakow, we talked about you being all by yourself in your team. So you don't have a massive amount of people helping you out. You are doing all the development, all the marketing, all the sales, and all the support by yourself.
Yes, at the moment I am.
Yeah. And I think that's something that's really inspiring to manage like 25, 24 extensions and being by yourself. So that's a strong advocate that you can run your own business with Joomla and not to have all the overheads and all the costs that maybe a whole team with locations or salaries and things like that.
Yeah, correct. And I get a headache if I have to think about that. So I'm not planning to grow my business either. But most of my tools are pretty small tools. So they're not huge components like forums or whatever.
Yeah.
it is manageable. But yeah, it's a lot of work, but it's fun.
Yeah, I think that that's inspiring, because I think that a lot of people say that you can't do it by yourself, because how can you be both the inventor of a new extension that you feel like you can offer the market, and at the same time being the one who's doing the sales and support. So I think having this conversation with you will be really inspiring for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So why Joomla? Like, why did you choose Joomla? Like, how did you start?
Well, it started just before the Joomla era began. So in the Mambo days, I set out to make a website for the church I was at that moment, and I had no programming skills whatsoever, so no PHP knowledge either.
Wow.
And I needed a system that had logins and a couple of stuff that were on my requirement list. And after looking at Typo 3 and Drupal, I don't know if Drupal was on my list back then, but I looked at a couple of them, and then Joomla really fit my requirements, and also the way Mambo back then was structured. I could get it from the get-go, and the others, I struggled with the whole concept they had. So it wasn't quite an easy choice for me to go forward with that. And then came Joomla, so I made the switch, and it all started from there.
So you learn by doing.
Yeah. I call myself a CPE developer, copy, paste, edit. That's the way I learn. I just grab some code or grab an extension that does kind of what I need to do it, what I need, and then I dig in and try to muck about.
And I think that that's the awesomest thing with open source, that all the code is available for us, so we can look at it, we can understand it, we can take it, we can tweak it, and we can iterate from it. And I think that has been an eye-opening for the past 15 years for people around the world. Like, a lot of bloggers never knew about how PHP worked, but now they're going into the PHP or CSS just to tweak some things so it looks the way they want, or it works the way they want. And that would never been able for people that just want to publish information before. So cool. That's awesome. I didn't know that. I thought you were like this traditional coder, like
no,
from school.
I have no coding background from study. I actually studied to become a pastry chef. So I did that a couple of years, and then thought, no, I'm not going to do this the rest of my life. And then my journey began into the coding world.
Cool. So I would like to ask you some questions on, like, when it starts, like when you think about an extension that you would like to offer to the market, how do you come up with it, and how is your process in that place?
Well, pretty much 80% of my extensions started purely from a selfish point of view, just something in Joomla or that doesn't work the way I want it to. So back in the day, I started hacking the core, and after the first update, all my changes were gone. So then I started looking into how to solve that via plugins.
Yeah.
And that's still how it goes now. I create a plugin just to scratch an itch that I have, and then think, well, maybe other people want it as well. And that's how stuff gets started, and then they grow out into complete extensions.
Do you have like pilot testing groups, or do you have surveys, or asking for feedback before you launch it, or do you just go about launching it first?
Well, not officially. So yeah, mostly I have beta versions first, and I just throw them out there. I ask on Twitter, or some people I have on Skype, or other groups that, do you want to test this out? So I do let some people look at it before launching. Yeah. I've actually got one on the which I'm going to launch later on today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's a new addition. But that's also something I've been using on my own site for a couple of years now, and only, it was on my to-do list to make it into a public extension for 2-3 years now, and only now I've come around to it.
So I saw that you had some people testing it from another kind of live show on YouTube that were testing a beta version. Is that the extension?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so that's a quick index, and it's just to make a simple index or a table of contents based on the headings in your content.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay, I will check that out, definitely. So that's interesting. And then when you do the iteration, how is your updating cycle? Is it depending on new Joomla versions coming out, or is it more like you get feedback from your users and you start implementing and tweaking it?
Yeah, definitely the last. Of course, also when Joomla changes stuff, then you have to go along with the changes, and that sometimes means you have to make code changes. But my extensions evolve really due to feedback from users, people asking me if stuff is possible on the forum, and then I think no, but it would be nice. So then I go to the drawing board, and usually within a couple of hours, I've got a new version to test out with new features, and also the bug fixing that goes on and on. I really like the release often and release early approach. A lot of users get really tired of that because they see an update every week or every day. But if I fixed something, it's very hard for me to not release it and know that there's an unfixed version live at the moment. So I release often.
But that's good though, because it feels like if you look at the marketplace, there are places in the extension directory that maybe haven't been updated for a long time, and then you don't get attraction to your products if you are not an active developer. So I think it's a good thing to have many releases, even if they are fast and maybe not congruent with the other updates of Joomla. Yeah,
I agree. Yeah.
So when it comes to the, is there a group of, can you say that you have a certain categories of your extensions, or could you come up with an idea that it's totally out of the blue and does not have to do anything about the components or extensions that you already have?
Most of my extensions, at least the ones I enjoy the most, are aimed at the administrator side. So small tools to make the administration side easier. And I've also got some front-end stuff. But mostly the stuff that relies on jQuery and other JavaScript libraries, they give me the most headaches. Because of support, because of templates conflicting and JavaScript libraries conflicting. So, But,
I'm laughing just because I know the feeling. Yeah.
So I enjoy the small tools just to make your workflow easier and just to make stuff possible that should be possible but aren't. But that's the power of Joomla, that you can make things possible through extensions. And, I'm happy to fill that gap where I can.
That's really cool. So if someone who's listening into this show and saying, hey, I would like to, I think this would be an awesome product for you to develop, would you be open for feedback on that on your forum?
Mostly the answer is no, because I've got, like I said, I've got more than 25 extensions at the moment. And that costs me quite a bit of time on support and development. And also I've got a to-do list of stuff I still want to create of my own. And adding to that list only makes it longer.
So there is marketplace for other developers then to open up their own Joomla shop and create extensions for users that they can offer to.
I'm keeping the market open.
No, that's good. That's good news for our viewers.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about like positioning and marketing. Like you have products that you have free, you have paid, and you have bundles.
Yes.
How do you come up with pricing and those kind of things? How do you know how much an extension word is worth for the marketplace to buy from you?
You don't. It's hard. It's pretty much guessing, especially with extensions that don't really have competitors. You can't really see what others do. So I've been playing around with pricing quite a bit in the past. I've tried to make it. I've got 2 tiers of pricing, so the cheaper ones and the larger ones, and I've tried to price them by thinking about how much time it saves the customer or the user. And in the past, I priced them more on the basis of how much time it costs me to support them and develop them, but that was not really the right approach. Okay. So, and also I've got a bundle, so that contains all my extensions, and they're all on yearly subscription basis. And I've also got a lifetime bundle, which I'm not really marketing much at the moment, so it's still on my site somewhere, but it's not in your face.
Okay.
And the lifetime is pretty much based on about 3 years of the normal bundle.
Okay. Yeah. So if I come to your site and I download a free extension, do you have like follow up and try to upsell me to, hey, you have this and there is a limited feature set, you can upgrade to this and pay for a subscription?
No, I don't do that actively. There are, I do have in the settings of my extensions, you can see the settings that are only there for Pro, and it just has a little message like it's not available in the free version. So I hope that
your extension, they feel like, oh, there is more that I can get if I pay. So you all the time is like in the face of the user to lure them or to excite them about other features that they don't have currently.
Yeah, correct. But that's pretty much only in the settings. So if you don't need to get into the settings much, you won't see that at all. So then there is not much of a trigger to go to the Pro version, unless you need the functionality of the Pro version, which is actually also I don't really want to push people to the Pro version. The way I decide what goes into the Pro and what goes into the free is more based on, are you earning money with your site? Then I would like you to pay for my extension as well. So most of the features that are in the Pro are only useful for the larger sites, for shop sites and multilingual sites. And so that's how I kind of try to decide what goes into the Pro version.
Well, that's interesting. That's really like good tips to figure things out, because I think that there is a lot of extensions out there that are free and paid versions, and some people don't know how your thought process behind that is. So this is really interesting to know. Yeah,
and my goal from the start was, I'm making a living now from these extensions, which is great. But if I could, I would still give them away for free. So I've tried to give as much away for free as possible and as long as possible. So I only put into the Pro, and I only sell the Pro to sustain a living, which is going pretty well. But I don't try to make all my free users Pro users.
Okay. So how much is the ratio between free users and paid users?
Yeah, I actually tried to figure that out today because I knew you were going to ask that. The going by downloads from this year, it's about 70% free downloads and 30% pro. So I think that's pretty awesome. Pretty high on the pro side.
I would say that because I heard people saying 90% free and 10% paid. So being up in the 30s, that's amazing. And I think that also you bring in a lot of support and you bring into a lot of extras that people feel like you are a valued part of their business because you make their business more profitable because you help them with a shorter way of getting things done, and you are responsive in your support, and they look good in front of their users or their clients. Yeah,
and I'm very happy that I can be part of someone else's success. So
when it comes to marketing, what do you do to get your extensions out there?
Not that much, actually. The only real marketing stuff I do is I have a little banner ad on the Dutch Joomla community website. And other than that, I do some sponsoring of Joomla events where I can. But I'm not sure if that is really marketing.
Yeah, it is. It's brand awareness, and it's also giving people a feeling that you are not just earning money on extensions for Joomla, but you also contribute to something bigger than yourself by helping other people be able to join an event for a smaller amount of money for a fee. So
So I've dabbled a bit in Facebook ads, but that was not much. So no, I don't really do active marketing per se.
Is there anything that you feel like you would like to do more, like try out more, that you haven't tried before that you're thinking about trying?
Not really, because like I said, my income now is pretty okay. And my goal is to keep that going. So I'm not looking into growing my business into a multi-person business. So I don't really have the need to grow it much more. Also because if I grow much more, I need more hours to deal with support and everything. So I don't want to grow beyond my capabilities.
And I think that's something that it's really interesting too, because I think that a lot of people think that you have to grow your business, but you can actually do more with less hours and sustain a better lifestyle like you have strived for and now are having in your life. So that's also being successful in my eyes, that you live the life that you like to.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think that's really a good point of view, not to think that you always have to have more money, but you can have more time, or you can have more things in your life that actually benefits you.
Yeah, and if you have that luxury, then that's very, very good. And I do at the moment. So I'm trying to live my life that way, also in a responsible way, to be able to maintain a good living for my daughter in the future. I try to keep my hours down. I don't make 80-hour weeks anymore. The last year or two, I think I've averaged between 35 to 40 hours. So for someone that has his own business, that's pretty luxurious.
Yeah, that's amazing. A lot of people don't have the luxury. You have to just choose what hours you work. Maybe you can work less hours in the morning if you're not a morning person, but you then work later at night, or you have some other things that needs to be in place for your survival, actually.
Yeah, and I've been in that situation before as well. I've also had 3 jobs at the same time, and at this moment it's going quite well. I don't know what it's going to be in 2 years, but now I'm trying to enjoy it as much as possible.
Yeah, you should. If you look at we have a question I'm going to give up on the screen. We got, it's a question for Peter. Have you considered merging your extensions to make the process of managing them easier?
No. I don't really see a lot of them being able to. Yeah, there are maybe some. No, not really. I don't really need to make it easier to manage for myself. For my users, well, I do have the regular Labs extension manager that makes it easier to install them and update them. I don't know if that answers your question, Fotis.
So maybe we get some responses in the questions later on.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing. So you talked about the before time when you were a startup, you had 3 jobs, and you were trying to get this up and flying, and now it's up and running. But what was your best advice for someone who is in the same place that you were maybe 4 or 5 years ago, that they are right now in, and they would like to get from that position of being uncertain about the money coming in and the cash flow and working too many hours? What is your tricks? How did you get where you are?
Yeah, I think the way my business evolved was really because I didn't want to make it a business, which sounds maybe a bit counter, but yeah, I started with my Joomla extensions just because I needed them myself and I wanted to give them away. And it grew from there, but it was never the idea to create a business out of it. And when that happened, it went pretty well. But even then, I'm just trying to make a living and not any more than that. So I don't have large goals of making a 60 people business of it.
No, but I was just thinking maybe you have some ideas on how to schedule your time, or how to, do you use tools that makes you more like efficient by yourself? A lot of teams use a lot of tools like Slack or any other like team things, but how do you keep track of what you do? Was that something that made a difference for your business, that you did something or used something to get where you are?
Not really. I think it's more of a mindset that kind of helped me, especially in the last couple of years, is that I've chosen to not do anything I don't enjoy. So pretty much if it costs you more energy than it gives you, then you probably shouldn't be doing it. But yeah, again, that's only a luxurious choice. And if you have to do it to get money on the table, I can get that.
But it's like we talked about, Joe and I, at the last live call, we talked about firing clients because they take more energy from you than he actually gives you. And then you don't have the energy to actually take care of your customers that you really enjoy working with. So sometimes you have to figure out, how do I create a life around myself, around my business that is enjoyable, that I like to go to work, and I enjoy serving my clients. And like you said, okay, I'm not going to go there, I'm not going to do this because it's not going to serve my purpose in life. I think it's a big key to success.
Yeah, my solution was to fire all my clients and not have any clients anymore, and just focus on the extension development part. So now I have users and not clients, and I like that. Yeah, so now I'm my own boss, pretty much. I didn't really enjoy the process of creating websites and the client conversations. It wasn't something that really made me enthusiastic. So since I've stopped doing that, that has really helped me to be in a place I like being.
And I also think it's brave of you to say, hey, I'm not going to have clients anymore. I'm going to focus on this. That opens up time opens up your mind to just focus on what you believe you can do best and you will enjoy best. And then success comes from that, because you are actually putting in more hours into serving your users or adding more feature to your extensions that you couldn't do before because you were busy with clients.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, correct.
Yeah. Okay, so I got the feedback from
photos.
Yeah, exactly. He says it was actually for you, so you couldn't save your time. Because managing all the extensions seems to be very time consuming. So that was his response. Yeah,
to respond to that, it doesn't really cost me much extra time to manage the extensions separately. So I've got one local setup where all my extensions are installed and in which I develop. And then I've got my own little scripts to release them or to release test versions with the click of a button. So yeah, for me, it wouldn't really matter much if I would merge them into single extensions.
So that's a good response. I think that was sweet of him to think about your time and so you can put it into other things. When it comes to like we talked about the struggles and what made you where you are, but also like, is there any point of time when you feel like, okay, now I can actually do this. I can relax in my situation. I can do exactly what I want and it's going to work for me. Like, was it like a time of like a year, or was it after a couple of months, or when did you feel like, okay, that was a good choice. I did the right thing.
Let's see. I'm so bad at keeping track of time when I did stuff. But the moments I made choices, like starting my own business and dropping clients, those were pretty much jumping into the deep, and I wasn't sure of anything. Like I said, for the last 2 years, I've been in a place where I have the time to also look at other stuff beyond Joomla and be able to relax a bit more, which is really good. And I like that.
Yeah, it sounds really good. And I know that like an entrepreneur, you never feel like at certain times in your business, you feel like, oh, this is like going through mud, or it's like having your face above the water range back and forth until you feel like, okay, now I'm in a boat and I'm safe and I'm dry and I don't have to be scared anymore. And that's a situation that for some people are for years. That's back and forth thing. And sometimes you get into something that is working very well for you and your business, and then you grow faster to the place where you would like to be. And I think that's not uncommon. So your feelings about jumping ship and being in the deep end for a while, everybody goes through that. There is no safety net for any one of us. And just surrounding yourself with people that supports you during that period of time is important. And also, although I enjoy it very much and I really like the job I gave myself, it's still not the most important thing in my life, and that is still family. That is still my wife and my daughter. And as soon as my Joomla stuff hurts my family life, then I stop doing that. And that is also what I've had to choose in the past when I was still actively involved in the community. Some stuff takes so much of your time that it hurts your family life, and for me that is reason enough to not do it anymore. Yeah, that's very true. So let's stick with that question: how you have been during the last years from Mambo until now, been contributing to the community.
So I've been involved in a couple of groups. I was part of the Joomla extension directory. I was part of the accessibility group and the team that did the overhaul for Joomla 3.0, the new admin. And I've been in a couple of groups over the time. Yeah, so I think I've done my share on that front.
Do you think it's good for you when you start your business and add Joomla to your toolbox as an agency or as an extension developer or a service provider to be part of the community in some part? Would that be beneficial for your business? Do you think that that has been helpful for you starting your business and getting your brand awareness and getting your network out there?
I'm not sure if it helped my brand, but it does help your personal growth and that you know what's going on in different areas in Joomla. So from that point of view, yeah, it does help you shape your business in a way that makes sense. Yeah.
So if I'm working with Joomla today and I'm not attached to the community, how would you suggest people get started into the community and volunteer?
Yeah, I'm not really the right person to ask, seeing I'm not really actively involved in the community for the last couple of years. Jay gave a very inspiring answer to that question from 2 videos back, 2 live shows back.
So I'm thinking, because you've been involved in the Dutch community, so is it good to be part of the local community first before you go into maybe be part of more the global community? Or do you think that matters at all?
I think that depends on what kind of person you are and what you enjoy doing. I don't really enjoy speaking to groups very much, but others do. And if you do, then Jugs, Joomla user groups are a great way to start and to explore that area. And there's work in every area in the Joomla core teams but also in the whole community outside it. So there's room enough to find out what you really like doing and only doing the stuff that you like. Yeah, so that's still my advice. Do what you like.
And I also think it's good that you actually said, okay, I've done my part. I did my contribution, and you don't have to go into a lifelong contribution change. It's not like you sign a contract to be a volunteer for life. It's like go in, do something that you like, enjoy, to volunteer with, get to know other users, get to know other people that work in the Joomla businesses, and contribute to something. And then you can be out, maybe for half a year, then you can come back and say, hey, now I like to do some presentations, or I like to be part of the marketing team or something else, or even develop the core of Joomla. But it's not that you have to do it all the time. I think that you are a good ambassador for saying, hey, I did this and now I'm out. And maybe you will come in again. You never know. Yeah,
and it's still volunteer work. So you don't have to do anything.
Exactly.
If you commit to something, you should do it. But it's volunteer work. So only do it if you want. And I've seen that around me in the different groups that are there in Joomla, but also in other non-Joomla areas where stuff is centered around volunteer work. That it's very easy to create a culture where volunteering is kind of a currency, and the more you volunteer, the more important you are. I went down that road a couple of times, but I'm not willing to do that anymore. And like I said, it's very dangerous because there's always work. So before you know it, you're working 120 hours a week, and you're burnt out just because of volunteer work. And I don't think anybody should go down that road.
And I don't think that Joomla will be a survival community if everybody did that. I think that the more people that come in and contribute with an hour or two a week, maybe do 10 hours one week and nothing for the rest of the year. So I think that the idea of balance, volunteerism, and work style is important. Otherwise, you will, like you say, burn out. And I think that that's not. I would like to see that the people that have been volunteering to Joomla feel like I volunteered to Joomla. It was a really, really good time for me. I did this and I felt good about doing it. And now I'm not doing that anymore because I'm now doing this. And then maybe if something bubbles up, I will do that too. But I think it's important not to try to overcommit yourself.
Yeah, I agree.
So, do you have any advice that you would like to share with with me or the users or the viewers of this show that we haven't spoken about?
Let's see. Not really. Spend more time with your family and less time behind the screen.
That's good advice. Really good advice. I have some more questions from Fotis. Let's see. It says 3 more questions, if you don't mind. Would you go back to working for someone else in the future?
No way. Not unless I have to. No,
Okay.
I don't really miss having a boss, and I also don't really miss having colleagues. I really enjoy working on my own and doing my own thing and being able to just code horizontally, like in bed, without any pants on. That's how most of my code gets written. Yeah, I really enjoy that. So unless I have to, no, I'm not going back to a boss. Yeah.
And the next question is, where do you see Joomla in the next 5 years?
I have no idea. I don't even know where it's going to be in a year. Having said that, I am trying to get myself ready for any situation. So yeah, maybe the internet is completely different in 5 years and nobody needs a website anymore. And yeah, so I've been trying in the last couple of years to not have, to not be a Joomla programmer, but just a programmer or a coder. So that if anything happens which causes Joomla to go down or causes the web to go down, that I still have my abilities to do something else with it. Yeah.
And
So
so the next question is, have you considered developing for other CMSs like WordPress?
Yeah. Yeah. I think a year or 2 or 3 ago, I looked into WordPress to see if I could do my thing there. But that wasn't for me. Mainly because for me, I tried to find something that would give me more, how do you say it? That it gives you encouragement to learn new stuff. And for me, WordPress was a kind of a step down. The code quality and the level is lower than in Joomla. So I was looking for something that was at a higher level. After that, I looked into Magento, which is at a higher level, but I found out that that was too high, so that was also not for me. So at the moment, I'm looking into Laravel, which is not a CMS, but a PHP framework. And yeah, I really like that. I get really enthusiastic about that. The thing I like about that, which also triggered my interest in the beginning into Joomla and PHP in general, is that it's you only need this much knowledge to be able to do something awesome, and you can grow from there and do more awesome stuff as soon as you learn more stuff.
So start small and scale from that when it comes to growing your expertise.
Yeah.
Good thoughts. Okay, so we're coming up to the end of the show, and I usually ask my guests when I have this ending of the show if there is anything that you would like to offer our viewers that would like to get more about, learn more about you. Where can they find you? What is your website? Are you on Twitter? How do I get in touch with you? How can I learn more about your products?
Yeah, so my website is regularlabs.com. I'm on Twitter at regularlabs. That's my main channel of communication. So you can ping me on that. I have a forum for support stuff. Yeah, and about giving stuff away. I think I've given away enough in my life. No, just kidding. You can go to regularlabs.com/Pixpro, and that will redirect you to the order page where you can get a 30% discount on any subscription or renewal.
Wow, that's very generous. Awesome, awesome stuff. Okay, so I hope that you enjoyed listening into Peter's advice and expertise and his vast experience how to be a Joomla developer in the extension world. And I hope that you got some good thoughts and ideas of how to use that in your own business and listen to his advice, especially to find a balance in life and figure out what you really, really want to do with your life that you enjoy, and do more of that and use your business as a tool to get that balance in life. Thank you so much, Peter, for joining me at the show. And if there is any questions coming into the questions during the replay, we will, both of us, Peter and I, go in and respond to those questions.
Yep.
So, thank you so much. And I will end my show right now. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye-bye.